I did not expect that a simple invitation to a festival could turn into something so emotionally tangled, yet as I sit here thinking through every glance, every hesitation, every word that was said and not said, I can already feel that this storyline is about to crack open something much deeper than just a missed event. It feels like the beginning of a storm that has been quietly building ever since June reappeared in her children's lives. At first, Samantha's reaction caught me off guard, because just earlier, she was the one asking Tyrell whether they should invite June. There was curiosity in her voice, maybe even a fragile hope, like she wanted to give this relationship a real chance. So when the spoilers hint that Samantha will later criticize June as a selfish mother, I cannot help but feel that something must have shifted dramatically in her perception. And that shift did not come out of nowhere. It came from disappointment, from expectation, meeting reality, and falling apart. I keep replaying the moment June refused the invitation in my head, because that is where everything seems to fracture. On the surface, it sounds simple. She says she is busy. She needs to work. She cannot attend. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that this is not just an excuse, it is a shield. A quiet way for June to step back without having to explain the storm inside her. And that is what makes this situation so painful, because Samantha does not see the fear behind the refusal. She only sees the absence. From Samantha's perspective, I can understand why she would feel hurt. She is just reunited with her biological mother after years of separation. There is a natural longing there, a desire to rebuild something that was lost. And when she extends that invitation, it is not just about going to a festival. It is about saying, come into my world, stand beside me, let people see you as my mother. And when June declines, Samantha interprets it as rejection, as if June is choosing something else over her own children. That is where the word selfish begins to take shape. Not because Samantha is cruel, but because she is wounded. And wounded people often create narratives to protect themselves. She tells herself that June does not care enough, that June is prioritizing work over family, that June is not making an effort, and in doing so, she builds a wall between them, a wall made of misunderstanding. But then I shift my focus to June, and everything changes again, because her refusal is not rooted in indifference, it is rooted in insecurity. And that is something Samantha cannot see yet. June is standing at the edge of a world that feels too polished, too perfect, too far removed from who she believes she is. The Dupree family has provided stability, wealth, structure. They have been there in ways June could not be, and now she feels like an outsider stepping into a place where she does not belong. I can almost picture June holding that invitation, her hands slightly trembling, her mind racing with questions. What will people think when they see her? Will they judge Samantha for having a mother like her? Will she embarrass her children? Will her presence disrupt the image that has already been built? And instead of taking that risk, she retreats. She convinces herself that staying away is the better choice, that it will protect Samantha rather than hurt her. And yet, this is where the tragedy lies. Because in trying to protect her daughter, June ends up hurting her instead. What fascinates me is how quickly misunderstandings can grow when two people are trying to navigate a relationship that has no foundation yet. Samantha and June are essentially strangers trying to act like family. There is no shared history to rely on, no established trust, so every action carries more weight than it normally would. Every decision becomes a statement, and every absence becomes a wound. I cannot help but think about how different this situation would be if June had just been honest. If she had said, I am scared, I do not feel like I belong, I do not want to embarrass you, maybe Samantha would have reacted differently. Maybe she would have reassured her. Maybe that could have been a moment of connection instead of division. But June is not there yet. She is still learning how to be a mother again, still learning how to let herself be vulnerable. And that is why I find June's character so compelling, because she is not perfect, she is not confident, she is not stepping into this role with ease, she is stumbling, hesitating, making mistakes, but all of it comes from a place of love, even if that love is expressed in the wrong way. Samantha, on the other hand, is navigating her own emotional maze. She has grown up without June, she has formed her identity within the Dupree family, and now she is being asked to integrate this new reality, this biological connection that carries both curiosity and confusion. She wants to believe in it, but she also needs proof. She needs to see that June is willing to show up. So when June does not show up, Samantha's disappointment hardens into judgment. I can already imagine the moment when Samantha talks to Smitty about this. There is something about Smitty that makes him the perfect confidant. He listens, he observes, he does not rush to conclusions, and I think this conversation will be crucial because it will introduce a different perspective into Samantha's narrative. Smitty is likely to see what Samantha cannot. He will recognize that June's absence is not about selfishness. It is about fear, about a lack of self-worth, about a woman who does not yet believe she deserves to stand beside her children. And I think he will try to gently guide Samantha toward that understanding. At the same time, I do not think Smitty will completely excuse June's behavior, because even if her intentions are good, the impact is still damaging, and that balance is important. This is not a story about villains and heroes. It is a story about flawed people trying to find their way back to each other. What intrigues me even more is the possibility of Smitty reaching out to June directly, because he seems like the kind of person who would not just sit back and watch this misunderstanding grow. I can picture him approaching her with empathy, not judgment, asking her why she chose not to go, giving her a space where she can be honest. And then comes the moment that I find both symbolic and deeply emotional. The idea that Smitty might give June a dress, not just any dress, but one that makes her feel seen, valued, worthy. This is not about fashion, it is about transformation, about helping June see herself in a different light, about telling her that she belongs, that she has every right to stand beside her daughter with confidence. That gesture, if it happens, could be a turning point, because what June needs is not just an opportunity, she already has that. What she needs is the belief that she is enough. And sometimes that belief has to come from someone else before it can grow within. As I think about June's journey, I cannot ignore how much she has already changed. This is not the same woman she was before. She has made progress. She has shown a willingness to reconnect, to rebuild, to step into a role that once felt out of reach. And that deserves recognition. The Dupree family plays a significant role in this transformation. They have not only taken care of Samantha and Tyrell, they have also created a space where June can return, where she can attempt to heal what was broken, and that is not something to take lightly. There is a quiet generosity in what they have done, and I think June is deeply aware of that, perhaps too aware, to the point where it feeds her insecurity. She compares herself to them, their stability, their resources, their image, and she feels small in comparison. But what June does not fully realize yet is that motherhood is not defined by wealth or status. It is defined by presence, by love, by the willingness to protect and support. And in that sense, she already has what it takes. I keep coming back to this idea that June is standing in her own way. She is the one creating barriers, not because she wants to, but because she does not know how to move past them. And that is why this storyline feels so real, because it reflects a truth that many people face. The hardest obstacles are often the ones we build ourselves. At the same time, Samantha's reaction is just as important, because it highlights how easily intentions can be misread, how quickly pain can turn into blame, and how necessary communication is in any relationship, especially one that is still in its early stages. I find myself wondering how long this misunderstanding will last. Will Samantha confront June directly? Will she express her disappointment? Or will she let it simmer, allowing resentment to grow? Each path leads to a different kind of conflict. And I can see the writers using this tension to explore deeper emotional layers. There is also the question of Tyrell, who seems to be caught in the middle of all this. His perspective could add another dimension to the story. Perhaps he will be more patient, more willing to give June the benefit of the doubt, or perhaps he will share Samantha's frustration. Either way, his role could influence how this dynamic evolves. As I piece all of this together, I realize that the festival itself is almost secondary. It is not about the event. It is about what the event represents. a chance to be seen, a chance to belong, a chance to take a step forward. And when that chance is missed, it creates a ripple effect that touches every relationship involved. And yet, I do not see this as the end of something. I see it as the beginning. Because sometimes it takes a misunderstanding to reveal what truly matters. Sometimes it takes a mistake to create an opportunity for growth. And I believe that both June and Samantha are on the verge of learning something important about each other. June will have to confront her insecurities. She will have to decide whether she is willing to step into the light despite her fears. And Samantha will have to learn that love does not always look the way she expects it to, that sometimes it is hidden behind actions that seem contradictory. What keeps me invested in this storyline is the emotional authenticity. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels exaggerated. It all unfolds in a way that mirrors real life, messy, complicated, filled with moments of doubt and longing. I can already imagine a future scene where June finally shows up, not perfectly, not confidently, but honestly. And Samantha sees her, truly sees her, not as the mother she wished for, but as the mother she has, flawed, uncertain, but deeply loving. That moment, if it comes, will carry so much weight because it will not just be about forgiveness, it will be about understanding. And maybe that is the heart of this story. Not whether June attends a festival, not whether Samantha calls her selfish, but whether they can find a way to bridge the gap between who they are and who they want to be for each other. As I sit with all of this, I cannot help but feel a sense of anticipation because I know this conflict is far from over. It is only just beginning to unfold, layer by layer, emotion by emotion, and I am ready to follow every step of it, to see where it leads, to see how these characters grow, stumble, and hopefully find their way back to each other.